We are live.
And welcome everybody to that another bonus roundtable that I am a Ninja Spence, and in that who do I have with who do I have with me tonight on the panel?
Yeah, me if my Discord would work.
And me, Miro Raven.
And a happy new year, everyone, to those that are just tuning in, and that we are going to be talking about basically what is our 2022 goals for for basically tabletop and basically team bonus action. But I would just want to just say like that for just everyone that it has been just a blast, last year, and then that we can make next year better. I mean that we can make this year better. That what about you guys?
Yeah, I think we all have some ideas that we might be able to do some fun stuff this next coming year.
Definitely have thrown out a bunch of different ideas. We just have to actually put the elbow grease in to get them to work.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So then that before that we basically do jump up into basically talking about like this year upcoming and such that if that you can pick like one moment of basically last year last year that was a mainstay highlight for you, which one would that be and why?
Oh, and Extra Life was pretty fun again. Trying to think of a more specific thing than just Extra Life. I certainly like being able to do Critter Showdown with an actual group of people at an actual table. And running Glitter Hearts was pretty darn fun.
And for you, Mira?
Repeat the question, please. I'm trying to figure out why it says it's unstable on Twitch, yet it's all good on OBS.
Okay, that I had basically was asking like that if that you can make basically like what was your biggest highlight of like 2021, anything team bonus action related or not?
Uh, the biggest highlight for me is that we raised over $3,000 for Extra Life. That was amazing. That's a big one for me, and that we're able. So far, we've been able to, if not regularly, repeatedly put out a decent stream this year, which is better than the year before.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, then I would definitely say that for that basically for me that it was basically helping out, that our latest member NASA, and then just to basically just that the way that we had just kind of like connected and stuff, and then that we basically found her a tabletop and stuff, and then it basically like it basically speaks to volumes for us as a team to basically allow a more diverse and then also inclusive nature to our tabletop RPG family, and then that is all what we are all about. That whoop. Now that wouldn't both of y'all agree?
Hmm. Yeah, sorry, my screen display's being dumb.
All
Tech
good.
technical difficulties.
No, that's fine. Keep going. I'm just trying to figure out why my battery's 60% while it's plugged in.
That's strange, but anyway. So anyway, then that basically then that I just only just got a few couple of just questions, just starting off with just basically like what are some goals that are regarding team bonus action as a whole that we just hope to have those resolutions complete this year?
Maintain the fun.
That's a big one.
The biggest one is maintain the fun. I mean, we're being more organized. Uh,
Consistency is still something we need to work on, though.
yeah. Uh, we're being more organized and more formal this year from what we've gotten from the last 2 months since our discussion after last Extra Life. But yeah, the big goal is even if we do that, we need to remember the main goal is that we've always been a group of friends playing games for fun and doing charity as well.
Right. That is the main thing. Right. Anything you got, Frey?
Uh, I guess I just maybe just work on our consistency a little bit of when we do things. I mean, it's hard when you got this many people and not all of us are even in the same place. But I don't know. I mean, we've got fun stuff coming up, so I'm just kind of looking forward to us jumping back into some older things and some newer things.
Yeah, absolutely. I know then that like one biggest thing that I was basically, just, pretty just pumped for it, just actually, just hopefully then that we can try to get our own merch or merchandise or just anything up so that way that we can basically try to, like give some money back, to make just the quality of our streams and stuff better, that we are basically getting better and better each and every year, and then that that it is that just as Miro said that we want to always keep on continuing having fun, so then that we got a few things kind of like behind the DM screen that we are working towards like getting a few things hashed out and stuff. So basically, then that that the next thing is that like just for just our own personal tabletop RPG goals, that like you know what what would you want to do to try to make this hobby better for you this year? Like any any kind of goals and ambitions regarding that.
Uh, ah, I'm sorry, my computer's being dumb. Um, I think mine, and this is for RPGs. This is also just kind of a general thing is just being more creative this next year. I feel like the last few years have put kind of a damper on me really being creative with a lot of things. Even though I've done stuff, like I haven't really written much. I don't draw much anymore. There's certain spurts I get of doing things. Like I did glitter hearts and that was fun, and I did stuff for Extra Life and that was fun. I feel like again, I guess it goes back to consistency. I don't really do a lot of creative stuff consistently anymore, and I want to get back to where I do that again.
Good. What about you, Miro?
Uh, I mean, just to maintain what I've been doing, like the big goal is to keep a long going, at least one long ongoing campaign throughout the rest of the year, which is pretty set for right now with the Monday game. Um, the other thing is when I'm playing other games to actually just go for it and play a different character than what I've played in the past. Like several times I get typecast into the role of cleric because I'm the last one to make a character, and it's like, oh, we need a healer. But and that's fun, and I'm not saying anything wrong about being a cleric. It's usually one of those things of, oh, this is what I'm doing now. Uh, like with Nace's game with Tears of Kairos playing Phil. Phil's going to be weird and out there and do dumb things, which
Yeah, and then we don't have a cleric to save our asses either. So
yeah, no, we don't. So I mean, the big thing is that Phil is. I want to do some odd, weird things with Phil, and I'm gonna run with it. With Into the Woods, the character I have designed for that, I'm gonna do something weird and run with it. So I'm gonna try to step out of what's been my comfort zone or my typecast for a minute.
I know just for myself personally, then that I want to become a better DM. That even though then that I've been DMing for roughly about maybe 8 9 years at this point, it's kind of hard to keep track, but it's still, I just feel like that I'm not always always a good DM in a sense, but yet people are like, dude, that your stories are amazing, that you had that, how did you keep this from us for so long? And then I guess it's just a little bit of my own self-consciousness, as well as my speech impediment at times, that just kind of just have me just kind of feeling that way sometimes. And another thing is then that I want to be more active in that the D&D art scene, because then that fantasy art has, I now that I have just been on this kick lately about just wanting to just basically, like draw my D&D characters, and just like go on Pinterest. And then I even have a board on Pinterest called basically fantasy art inspiration, for me to actually start just studying more so of those. And other tabletop goals are, I need to actually finish just writing the whole like Revenge of Stefan Carcass campaign, because that I have only up to level 9. Well, 8, well, no, actually 8.5 up, because then that I still need to basically finish out designing it, and like reworking that ninth level dungeon. And then that and basically due to that situation that had happened about like 4 years ago or so, whenever that it was my first time actually hosting a long time game, that I kind of I now that I kind of lost motivation to go ahead and finish writing out that campaign. So then that is something on that the bucket list for sure, that I would like to get done, at least for just my sake, to have it done writing.
Yeah, I also want to try and connect us with more people online this year. I'm on Twitter a lot, but I need to learn how to actually network us better. I don't know how this stuff works. I need to get with Nate, especially when it comes to Instagram, because I never touch Instagram, and I need his help with that. But I want to try and get us out there a little better.
Yeah, then I have also been doing the Twitter stuff too on the side as well. Just basically being a little bit more engaged with the community. Absolutely, I can agree with that. You got? Do you have anything else, Mira?
Not really. I mean, when it comes to social media, I will leave that all up to y'all. No, thank you.
That's fine. I mean, then that, just as far as in just basically like other that like other goals and stuff that we can talk about, that that I would definitely also like to see some other members of like TBA kind of sort of like if then that they want to be more engaged that we now whoop now then that I would definitely like to also include them. It is just basically just as Frey said just earlier that that like the most of us are here and then that the folks that are far away that they definitely want to basically join in, but sometimes technology, etc. But then that I would just want us to try to like at least figure figure out a stable way to get that to work better for like if then that somebody wanted to join in to one of our in-person games or so. So then I think I think then that'll be very helpful to also have that involved sometime down the line.
Forgive me, I had to step back for a second. My new pajama pants decided to get tangled up in my chair.
Mm, it's all good. I mean, that what about you, Frey? That how do you think that we can basically have like more members of Team Bonus Action engage more?
Um, I think I don't know. I mean, I think we all have a tendency, especially after we do something big like Extra Life, to all kind of fold into ourselves and not do a lot after. I think communication, just even within our own group, sometimes is something we need to, stick to better because, you know, we have a Discord and we'll tag everyone on a Discord, ask a question, and it's like not everybody sees it. But I'm not calling anybody out or anything because we all do it. But I feel like, again, it goes back to being consistent. If someone wants to run something, they need to run the thing they're going to run. If we want to, you know, plan something, we need to all make sure we stay on, the trail of planning it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like this. We do this for a job. We've never done this for a job. We're never going to do this for a job. Let's be real here. It would be some kind of super weird twist of fate if we ever did. I make jokes about it. Like, someone make us go viral so I can, run Team Bonus Action social media as a job, please. But, I mean, we all have our lives. So, you know, you just got to take it with a grain of salt, too, what I'm saying. Because life comes first.
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
know a lot of us are, when it's outside of our own group or our gaming, a lot of us are introverts, me included. And I know as an introvert, that sometimes you just ghost without meaning to. You don't answer a couple messages, turns into, oh shit, I haven't responded to anything in like a week. Oh shit, we were supposed to do this and I forgot. So I'm completely guilty of it myself. So I'm, like I said, I'm not trying to say it's any one person in the group or anything. I do it. It's just we're all a bunch of introverted nerds when it comes down to it. Sometimes we need to break our tendencies, probably.
just a introvert that can somehow swap to an outrovert to an extrovert mindset, but still be like, I'm a ghost. But it's why that I had to turn off Discord notifications because that I am part of so many that it just kept on blowing up my phone. But I do try to find time to basically check Discord to make sure that if I didn't miss anything, that would come up.
Right. Like I said, I mean, we're all trying to just also role play semi functioning adults in our everyday lives. So that is always going to come first.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know that we can that you know that we now that we cannot that we can always like re-roll a bad choice in game, but sometimes up in life you cannot re-roll it. You know that you're kind of stuck with it sometimes. And for you, Miro, got anything else you want to add?
Uh, I guess the only thing there, I really need to. I don't know. I guess I've been doing DMing for so long, and I'm usually the forever DM. Uh, I generally feel like most of what I do is okay, but I do know I need to get back in the habit of doing better with my Roll20 maps. Because right now, I think in almost all my games, the Roll20 maps that are being used are ones that I made almost a year ago. Like, I made a lot of stuff in advance and then sat on my laurels for a minute and kind of want to pull back from doing that and get back into actively making stuff. So, I guess there's that for now.
Something to also consider as just that a fellow cartographer for D&D that I love making maps. It is kind of like relaxing. You just put on an audiobook and then you just chill out for about 2 hours and then you just go to town making a map. But yeah, then I can definitely feel that sense of that forever DM mentality because then that I even have that at times of just basically, oh, just that, that I don't want to run this game. And then it's like, I raise my hand, like, I can run it. But, that but for that the sole fact of me being a player again, actually kind of like inspires you to want to do more because that a new DM brings a new wave of light to basically the way how how that you may think of something different versus somebody else.
Yeah, and it's one reason I'm excited about NASA running games is to get that other DM in the group so that we do have someone else, and it is different. It is a different flavor, and it's always good to get that every so often because even if I'm making a completely different campaign, there's always going to be a little bit of that I have in every single game. There's always going to be that one super weird NPC. There's always going to be a reference to Mixel's marvelous magics with one of my favorite slash most hated NPCs. Um, so yeah, there's having someone new come in is exciting just because it's fresh blood. It's something new, and it's an opportunity. So always willing to give one of those.
Oh yeah, I mean that I basically remember whenever then I was essentially the new that that the new person and stuff. Then that I had amazed y'all with just my wit and such, the way how I play characters and such. And then it's also then that that my games are more so like it is always somebody that is always like a double role or else in that they are a spy or something like that. But then at our monster of the week game, the entity killer tales, it is kind of forcing me to go a more horror route. And in that, for those that know me in in real life, that I really and truly do not really vibe with horror movies that much. Although that that these two players might just may say otherwise.
That I don't do horror movies. I don't. So, but Monster of the Week really doesn't. Even though we go sometimes have creepy stuff in the games, we always tend toward just the supernatural Scooby Doo on steroids more route. I've never had
Hmm.
one. Topher or Greyflower is the one DMing. I've never been in one of his Monster of the Week games, and I know he leans more towards horror, body horror stuff. But I don't think any of our Monster of the Week games have really leaned into horror. Really, there's been suspense. There's been you know uh that fantasy, sci-fi, supernatural aspect. But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who play it as scary as shit. But I prefer the way that our games tend to go.
Point. Anything that you gotta add on that, Mira?
Uh, yeah, I would say with the exception of what y'all have said, with the exception of Graveflower, most of us are not super super spoops. Uh, more spoopy than spooky really is where I feel we go. Uh, like Topher goes like, hey, here's some cosmic horror of body transmogrification that's going to be terrible for you for about 5 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, no, I'm good. I'm good out here. I am I'm good. Um, but saying that, I know that all of us are capable of it because while I don't feel my version of Into the Woods was necessarily overtly frightening all the time, I know that I left everybody in a near constant level of discomfort. Like, you didn't have much time to catch your breath because I think over the course of all those games, y'all got 2 long rests. I think
And
I,
it,
I think that's what y'all had at that point was 2 long rests.
too long rest. Uh, that I finally got over my exhaustion. Whenever then I basically fell up into like mucky wild magic water, but it was still like I was just that you really hurt us bad up in that campaign. But it was a good hurt. I mean that is a sense of dread that is stereotypically different from just say your classic, like adventuring party that's off to slay, like a random knoll dragon or else that the flump that wants to take over the world by just turning everyone into chocolate cake. But it's still in a sense of just like, you know, again that that I cannot praise like that our new DM Nasa enough because that she has just that caring just nature of like that she would do something to one of my characters and then that she would ask me like, are you okay, meaning that is that me the player is okay. And then I think then that's a very very strong quality to have balanced out of our, what is it, like 4 to 5 main DMs at this point now?
Let's actually take a second and talk about that because I mean we got a bunch of varying styles. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
I'll be honest. The 2 longest running DMs in our group at this point are probably me and Zeta, or me and Graveflower. Uh, God, I'm almost doing 20 years of DMing. But my style is give y'all a chance to do something epic, but also throw in something absurd because it brings some fun. Zeta very much likes to make everything creepy and scary enough that it's uncomfortable. Like when he was running God, what is it? The Sunday game, the Sundering of Tyr that I was in. We constantly had to go through a pocket dimension that was the innards of a dead god that were constantly changing, so we'd have to rediscover our way through the entire time. And within 3 games, we lost contact with our home plane for the almost the entire remainder of the series of that game that we were playing. So there was this real subtle horror to that of like, even if we defeat the bad guy, is there any chance we're going to get home? Um, and he still allowed everybody a chance to really shine. Knox is more mechanical, but he has a lot of passion behind it. From the couple games I've seen him run and I've actually played in. Let's see, Nasa's so far.
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, Nasa's so far. She is bringing an energy of a brand new DM that is contagious to the table. There is a spark in there that is making it fun. Now, it's also the fact that we got Nathan in that game, who doesn't get to play that often, and then we got a brand new player, Jed, and that works really, really well. So I'm really excited to see where that goes from there. To me, Spencer, your style is awesome for brand new players. Like, you have a patience there that a lot of senior DMs usually don't. And the way you run games would be the best way to get someone in and then keep them into the hobby. But with senior players, you're willing to let them go do something different and weird. You're willing to hear them out and let them discuss what they're doing, and then discuss with you what they want to do, even if it's not 100% by what would be the, you follow rule of cool more than you follow the rules of the book.
Appreciate that, because then whenever then I was first getting into this hobby, I would look up people like Don Forgecast, Taking 20. Who else was it that I would just follow? It was just some other ones, and then that all of them had said the same thing: never say no to your players. You know, if that you basically wanted to tickle the orc to death, I'm like, roll in an armed attack, let's see where this will go. Because that I will get up into my DM breakdown from just my perspective. I wish that you have already did a good job, but for me it is more so like I like to tell the story and stuff, and then that I guess that also comes the patience come from like dealing with the table of 15 rambunctious teenagers at the library, and then that we were and then that that we had used to have D&D programs before COVID, and basically it was just like I had to be patient with all of them, teach them what a D20 does and stuff. And with older players, I tend to expect y'all to like, okay, then I need you to kind of be a little bit, kind of like that the side DM just in case, because then I don't know everything but at the same time that I make certain decisions that would have like expert players go like, I would never thought about that. Like that the mana potion idea, that I got that straight from Final Fantasy, because then I'm like, people that because that it was always just something about like, magic users, then that they fit that they don't have enough resources to always get back spells. So I was like, why not create a mana potion, which then that going back to Nasa, that she basically, whenever we first connected at the shop, then that it was just like okay, and then at the more and more that I have played with her, d DM'd for her, we are kind of like we are basically two sides of the same coin, but yet that our styles mesh so well together, and then that she is ordered chaos while I am basically ordered structure, if that makes any sense. And honestly, Miro, with your games, that even though that I have not been part of a 5e game, just like judging based off of fact of your monster of the week, and then that your one shots, that and especially like up into like into the woods even, then that I could see that your style gears towards more like you have choices, your actions have consequences. Then that you try to throw us bones, but not so much of the fact that you are very forgiving, because then I guess then that just comes with just that veteran DM style you have.
The big advice I would throw out for just about anybody is know the rough idea of what you want and then stop writing there. Know that you're going to have these encounters somewhere. Know what this village's deal might be. Know what's out in the woods. Don't put a rail down because that's not as fun. If everybody's, I
Mm.
mean, it's modules are fun. Modules can be a lot of fun, but running the exact same thing repeatedly for me is not always great. I mean, like the reason I buy most modules that I buy is because I want bits and pieces from them. I'm going to steal from them. Yes, I want to know what an abyssal chicken is. Yes, I want to know what an elder brain dragon is. I might not use anything else from this book. This one thing or these 5, 10 things are enough to intrigue me to where I will continue to have inspiration to throw towards my players. The the big thing to work on constantly as a DM is how to improv. Don't freak out when they go right because you didn't have anything planned right. You had it planned if they go left. Worst case scenario for you, keep a blank face and then switch what was to the left, now is on the right, and roll with it. Don't be afraid to say yes and at any given point, but always be on your toes because your players, especially if you DM for DMs, are going to do something weird. Like kidnap and adopt a kobold that you've been trying to kill off for multiple games, to where now they've kept it so long that it has player character levels.
Hey, I never agreed to kept keeping the cobalt. That is all Peregrine.
We know this. We know this.
And then that's a very good point. And then that Freda, what do you think about all of the DMs, and how much then that they can improve and such for that the DMs that have been at team bonus action?
Oh, I mean everybody's so different. I mean, Hewitt's the one I have the most experience with as a DM. He's a DM 99% of the time I'm playing anything. Um, he's really good at just going with it. Because I'll tell you, some of the games we played, we really throw some weird shit at him, and he just on the fly. All right, well, this is what's happening. Um, I mean, I know with some games we play, like I'm playing our Fate game, he doesn't even really do anything. He just reacts. because that's about all you can do after a while in some of our games. Because I know when we were playing that other monster of the week, he definitely wasn't expecting us to summon Lilith into the New Orleans Zoo.
Judge Judy from Avernus just come and just handle their family situation.
Yeah.
I feel that Lucifer would have tried to get the great pit fiend Moray so that he would say,
Oh,
"You are not the patron." And
Oh my god.
oh my god.
But I mean, everybody just has their own tone, is all. And if we ever get more viewers, some DMs might not be the flavor some people want. You know, Topher always tends to go a little weird, a little dark, which I'm cool with. But some people might not want to watch that. Some people might want to just watch a whole lot of the goofy shit we do, because no matter how hard we try to do a serious game, it never stays serious no matter what we do. Of course, I only got to hear parts of Into the Woods. I didn't get to actually watch Into the Woods for the most part. But and I know that was a deviation for Hewitt, to where he kind of weirded himself out after you guys were done playing a couple of times. He's like, I think I freaked them out. Should I have done that? Am I supposed to do that? Like, that was kind of the point of a Halloween scary game, isn't it? He's like, yeah, but I didn't think I was going to actually do it. Like, he felt bad. He freaked you guys out a couple times.
Oh.
it
But
it looks like a horse. Might have
I think it's good though.
that line right
That's a
there.
good thing.
That line right there might have been the scariest thing I said the entire game. Was it looks like a horse.
But I think it was good though, because you took yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that made everybody else real uncomfortable in what should have been an uncomfortable situation. So, and then, like Hewitt said, Spence, your games are really good for. I mean, they're good for everybody, but they're really good for people who are newer. Just because, just kind of the way you just go into things, it seems like it'd be good for someone who's not quite as experienced with the game. But I mean, it works for everybody. But sometimes we've got so many people that have played for years now that it's kind of like someone else jumps in and they're just like, the fuck? What am I doing?
Right. Try to basically, because then that I don't think that from currently where y'all are at Stefan Carcass, that I can actively say that the kid gloves are coming off. I mean that you can even ask like Nasa that whenever that I have DM for her at the shop, it was almost like every single encounter, her wizard was getting downed. That a dragon fight, my first ever real dragon fight with a party, it was 4 out of the 7 party members were, like brought to zero. And then they're like, holy crap, what are we going to do?
Sometimes they need that kind of smack of reality of, oh, this can be harder than we thought.
It's one
I
reason.
know how I can get, because I am the resident born person here, because I am a huge fan of Dark Souls, and then that it is basically the way my combats are is max health. If the y'all succeed up against the creatures, the y'all get goodies, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't run a meat grinder. Because I know
Right. I
there's DMs
don't
out
do
there that give you max health and will give you stuff, but they just run a meat grinder. Their goal is to kill you. And I know
oh no.
I teased you the other day when we were in the game show, and I said, don't kill anyone, Spence. But I know that's not actually your goal. Your goal is to tell a story, which is kind of the point. But so you try and make tougher encounters, but you're not actively trying to be always have a TPK. We joke about
For
it, but
I always provide a way out regardless of any kind of encounter. You just have to pay attention to my cryptic metaphors. There's always a way out.
see, I'm not really a DM. I've DM'd what, two things, and I made one of them. And I haven't even DM'd a D&D game. I did Glitter Hearts. So I really don't. I'd like to DM a little more this year. I have a couple of ideas. I have one that I'm thinking of that I kind of want to work on and maybe run later this year. That's not so much a combat based game, so much
Hmm.
as research based, almost a Pokemon inspired kind of thing, but not Pokemon.
That sounds interesting. I would be
So
down for that.
I'm kind of rolling it around because I've enjoyed DMing the couple things I've DM'd, but I want to kind of try my hand at DMing just because I think I'm more scared of it because of all the moving parts that can go with it. Because with Glitter Hearts, it's pretty easy. You do damage, mark it down, but you can have so many things on the board going on with D&D. And lore-wise, I'm not really scared of doing that. It's mathematically and mechanically that I get intimidated by.
Understandable. And then that the best thing that I can say is to basically, whenever that it gets to that point, because I forget to read stuff. Like I could have easily messed up my players on like I forget what I was running with them. It was like that the wearboards, and then that they had something to where then that the players were supposed to be rolling for a fear effect or else have disadvantage. I completely bypassed over that, and then that everything had worked out fine, but it's just like as that you say, Frey, it's just so much stuff as a DM you have to keep up with. And then that the only tip that I can provide with just my knowledge is just basically just take your time with it, and then that basically, just have fun with it, just as Miro always said just early, just have fun with it, because that in a sense that running monster of the week that they have something up in the book of that the keeper section that I believe that Wizards of the Coast should add up in all of their books on like that the copyright page or so. It up in the Monster of the Week book, it says that you are the game master keeper. Your job is not to kill the hunters. Your job is to be a fan of the hunters. So for me personally, I take that as in like that I am a fan of the party. That their yes, that that their actions do have certain consequences, but I am not actively against the party. Anything else y'all want to add to that?
I really wish we could get John to or Lemmy Weeks to
Yeah, I was gonna say something about him too.
Mm-hmm.
DM more because he's the one that we had at the game shop. And
Well,
if you want someone that is really good at yes and, it is
well,
him
it's I
because
really would like him to DM something outside of the game shop because in the game shop he's a very straightforward DM because we're basically doing Adventurers League. We
Mm-hmm.
meet every week. If you're there, you play. If you're not, you don't. You level up if you're there. You don't level up if you're not. So it's very straightforward. We were playing Waterdeep, but he's still really good DM. But the stuff he does as a player, because he comes up with some amazing shit as a player. I'm like, I want to see what he can do when he lets loose as a DM.
Right.
well, I will say he's a master of yes and because he had to deal with the paladin that keistered a fireball necklace
Yeah.
and then wanted to stand in the middle of the party, and it's like, no, no, you stand on the edge of our group. You are
Mm.
literally a bomb, sir.
I mean, this is also the DM though that was like he and I knew the entire time that Mal had a freaking brain eater in its head, and you figured it out because you remembered, but no one else remembered that detail until the very last session when I was able to pull that off at the end and ended up betraying the party. And he and I kept that between us the entire time. And he pulled that off with me at the end beautifully.
Thing that just makes him such a good DM too. That just like listening in on his games. It's just it's just like that. He is very much patient like me, and then that he is very open and friendly to players. And then that even though that up at the shop that we are not running Adventures League that me and Nasa are trying to basically pull it back together in a sense because that we are the sole two DMs that have braved the COVID and such, and then that we still mask up, everybody's vaccinated and stuff, and then that we just basically we have done so much for just that the community locally that we just want to, and then I think then that that that's also one of my biggest goals is to try to be more active in the community because then that I have been noticing that there has been a that that a not a lot of POC or else people of color content creators that are basically getting that are basically getting involved into the hobby more and more. And then I would just say that this has been a fantastic way of just meeting new people, new family. I can call you guys my family because that whenever you have a solid tabletop group, you guys are essentially family. And plus that, everybody knows how to cook well. So that's so then that then that's how that we can trust each other.
It is generous to say I can cook well.
Can
Oh,
cook.
shut
Oh,
up.
shut up. Like that. I can do just a little something, but not much in the kitchen.
He can do a whole lot of things that he won't admit he's good at.
I am a world renowned and accomplished flatulist.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
This is not a lie.
This isn't a lie, but yeah, I mean that I am looking forward to team bonus action up in that the year 2022 because in that I know that there has been talks about I know that I had basically asked our new DM Nasa that if that she would like to co DM with me for like a for just like a one shot or so, that 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 I think then that that'd be fun and interesting because that with our powers combined, y'all may die, but I don't know that. Oh,
By
that is
our
fine.
powers
That yeah.
combined, y'all may die. I think that needs to be a bumper sticker.
But honestly, that then that I do believe that we have good synergy, that we work well off of each other, because that we can both bring chaos, spoopy, and then that we are both storytelling telling DM styles, and then that also
Oh.
then that go on. Sorry.
Ah, no, sorry. My Discord has frozen to where I'm not pushing buttons, and then it crashed. So please ignore me for the moment.
Okay, it's fine. Technical things, and then that we are almost done anyway. But it is just basically that. Oh, just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah,
I'm
oh yeah.
sorry.
Then that it is fine. It's fine that it's recalculating. But yeah, that it is basically that whenever that we basically do that the whole like that the whole like DM and player secret conversation about like characters and stuff like that at the shop. She had got my character that who is basically a tiefling paladin to basically hit on her younger brother. I'm like, I had missed the complete detail because I was just up in the role play so deep. And then I was trying to impress this guy about like I can use a glaive too. And then he's just like, whatever. because that I wasn't up in my armor or just anything that now that we had just made it to just at this area to where it's basically like it is a nomadic tribe tribe area place. And then that it was just like the next morning, it is just like I had heard that name from just at my backstory, and I'm like, oh, oh, but everything had worked out and stuff. It was all fine and dandy. Hmm. Did we lose did we lose Frey for good?
Not sure yet. I have yet to hear cursing from the other room.
Okay. I mean, any other closing remarks while we wait for Frey to get back?
Uh, not really. I guess. Sorry. I really would like to see everybody that stepped up and volunteered for stuff to do what they said they're going to do, because I know they can. So I would really like to, if we got ourselves together, uh, if we got ourselves together to do what we were supposed to, I got a feeling we would succeed.
Absolutely. I can 100% agree with that. So yeah, so then that that was pretty good discussion, basically talking about that the goals and stuff for just that this year, and then for just that a little bit about ourselves. So what do we have on the schedule coming up?
Tomorrow we will have Holy Winds, coming back after our 1 week off for the holiday. Thursday will be your interview that you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
doing with our own Frey right here. Um, and then after that, we'll have a kitchen table next weekend, and then next week we'll have Holy Winds again, or the week after that I'll have Holy Winds again, and then followed by Mothership run by Nate again. And then after that we will fall into our regular schedule with
Oop,
Monster, or with our Into the Woods
oh,
uh,
there we go.
led by Graveflower, and move into our 3 game a week schedule.
As Tears of Cairo should be back within the next 2 weeks.
It's every
God
time
dang it! There.
God dang, it's the monster
Ah,
again. Shit,
God dang it, Spencer! Just
that's the real monster.
every single recording, a god dang burp.
Is it bad that every time I read Topher's handle instead of grave flower, my brain initially reads it as gravel flower
It's better than his
every
old.
time?
It's better than his old handle where he was Europa sings to me, and someone couldn't pronounce it, so it was like Europe's tome something. Like it
Oh
was.
God,
I,
yeah.
I just couldn't help but start laughing at the guy who was getting pissed at him and couldn't say his handle right.
Oh boy. Sorry, my Discord decided to crash.
It is it is just all good, and that we were just we were just wrapping up this episode, and that I would just like to thank you, Frey and Miro, and then that I would just pass all of the social media stuff off to Frey.
Alrighty. Well, obviously we are on here on Twitch, Team Bonus Action. We are on YouTube, Team Bonus Action. You can catch all of our previous games. We have a crap load of stuff that has been uploaded. I'm Into the Woods, and there's Extra Life, um, our Monday game, Holy Winds, Tears of Kairos. Everything's going up there. So you can always catch up, see what we've been doing, videos of our dumb shit that we do in the games is up there. We are on Facebook at Team Bonus Action, and we are on Twitter, where I am most active on our social media at bonus_team. Um, is it Thursday that you wanted to do that interview, Spence?
Yeah,
Okay,
say
so Thursday. Not that I'm that interesting, but
no, that you are interesting. Everybody here is interesting.
But so we'll be doing that Thursday, and we are going back to Holy Winds tomorrow, and uh, hopefully things aren't goofy with people. And we are going to be bringing back Lost Seas at the end of the month. Looking forward to that. I think that's all I got on socials right now.
I have any more updates. I know that I basically have been doing just basically some testing with just some merch and stuff that will be coming up relatively soon, up in about the next month or so. So just stay tuned
Yes.
for that announcement.
He has got
But
some cool stuff, and I'll start posting it on social media soon.
so I don't have anything else, and in that without Knox here, that
Don't let your meatloaf.
good night, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. See y'all later. Bye bye.